The steam rose like ghosts from the bubbling water, wrapping around us in the dim glow of the cabin's porch light, and that's when Ronan leaned in, his breath hot against my neck, whispering words I'd never imagined hearing from him. My heart slammed against my ribs like a trapped animal, every muscle frozen as his hand slid up my thigh under the surface, fingers tracing paths I couldn't map. In that instant, the world cracked open, and I realized the boy I'd called brother for a decade was about to unravel everything I thought I knew about myself. Elias Harper had always been the steady one, the guy who fixed leaky roofs in Ridge Valley without a second thought, who laughed off the small-town gossip swirling around his quiet life like fog off the Pacific. At 28, he was built like the redwoods that flanked the California coast, tall, solid, unyielding on the outside, but with roots that twisted deep into soil no one else could see. He'd grown up in this stretch of land between Santa Cruz and Monterey, where the waves crashed eternal and the summers stretched lazy under endless blue skies. His parents ran a roadside diner called Harper's Hollow, slinging pancakes and coffee to tourists chasing the myth of the American dream. Elias helped out on weekends, his calloused hands flipping burgers with the same precision he used to tune his old pickup truck. But beneath the flannel shirts and easy smiles, there was a hollowness, a question mark he'd buried since high school, when the locker room jokes about fairies had landed too close to home. Ronan Kane was the spark to Elias's ember, the wild card who'd crashed into his life freshman year at community college in Monterey. Ronan, with his sun-bleached blonde hair that fell in perpetual waves and green eyes that caught the light like sea glass, came from the inland sprawl of Fresno, where almond orchards baked under the Central Valley sun. He was 27, a freelance photographer chasing gigs that paid just enough to keep him drifting, weddings one month, surf shoots the next. They met in a dingy lecture hall, bonding over shared disdain for the professor's droning voice and a mutual love for late-night drives blasting Springsteen. Ronan was the one who dragged Elias out of his shell, teaching him to body surf at dawn and sneak IPAs into midnight bonfires. "You're too damn serious, Harp," Ronan would say, clapping him on the back hard enough to jolt a laugh loose. "Life's not a checklist. It's a goddamn adventure." Their friendship was the kind that didn't need labels, the rare breed that survived cross-state moves and ghosted texts. When Ronan's latest gig fell through, a coastal magazine fold that left him scraping by, he called Elias from a payphone in Big Sur, voice ragged over the line. "I need a reset, man. Your folks' cabin in Ridge Valley. It's empty this weekend, right? Just us, the hot tub, and whatever's in that cooler you stash." Elias hadn't hesitated. The cabin was a family heirloom, a weathered A-frame tucked into the hills above the valley, with a deck overlooking a creek that murmured like old secrets. It was the perfect escape, or so Elias told himself as he loaded the truck with firewood and six-packs, ignoring the flutter in his chest that had nothing to do with the winding roads. They arrived at dusk on Friday, the air thick with eucalyptus and salt from the unseen ocean. Ridge Valley was a speck on the map, a cluster of clapboard houses and a single stoplight where the locals swapped stories at the feed store. Elias's truck rattled up the gravel drive, headlights slicing through the twilight, and Ronan hooped as they pulled up, already cracking a beer before the engine died. "This place is magic, Elias, like stepping into a postcard." They unloaded in companionable silence, the routine as familiar as breathing, Ronan hauling the cooler while Elias stacked logs by the stone fireplace inside. The cabin smelled of pine resin and faint mildew, walls papered in faded florals from the 70s, but it felt like home. They grilled steaks on the porch, the sizzle mingling with crickets, and talked shit about old flames. Ronan's string of beach bum girlfriends who never stuck, Elias's one-and-done dates with women from the diner who faded like morning mist. As the stars pricked the velvet sky, they migrated to the hot tub, a relic from Elias's grandfather's moonshine days, now bubbling under a canopy of string lights. The water was scalding, a welcome burn after the chill creeping in from the fog bank rolling inland. They stripped to trunks, Elias in his plain black board shorts, Ronan in neon that glowed under the water, and sank in with sighs that bordered on groans. Beers sweated on the lip of the tub, condensation dripping like tears. Conversation meandered from baseball stats to conspiracy theories about the government's weather machines, laughter echoing off the dark trees. But there was an undercurrent tonight, a thickness in the air that Elias chalked up to the altitude or the booze. Ronan's glances lingered a beat too long, his knee brushing Elias's under the jets, sending sparks up his spine that he dismissed as static. It was past midnight when the words slipped out, unbidden, like a stone skipping across water. Ronan set his bottle down with a clink, bubbles frothing around his chest, and fixed Elias with a look that pinned him in place. You ever wonder why we're still doing this? Chasing each other's shadows like we're afraid to lose the map. Elias chuckled, low and evasive, splashing water to break the tension. Because you're a pain in the ass, Kane, and someone has to keep you from starving. But Ronan didn't laugh. He shifted closer, the water sloshing, his voice dropping to a rumble that vibrated through the steam. Nah, it's more than that. For me, anyway. Elias's throat tightened, the heat suddenly oppressive. He'd felt it before. The pull, the what-if that haunted his solitary nights in the cabin's loft, staring at the ceiling beams while Ronan slept on the pull-out below. It started small. A hug that lingered after a bar fight in college. Ronan's body pressed close in the rain-slicked parking lot. Or the time they camped in Yosemite, waking tangled in sleeping bags, breath mingling in the pre-dawn cold. Elias had shoved it down, labeled it brotherhood, survival instinct in a world that didn't make room for questions like his. He was straight, damn it, or at least that's what the mirror lied every morning. Women were safe, uncomplicated. They didn't threaten the fragile scaffolding of his small-town life. Ronan's hand found his under the water first, tentative, then firm, lacing fingers in a grip that said everything words couldn't. Elias's pulse thundered, a storm in his veins. Ronan, what the hell? But the protest died as Ronan closed the distance, lips brushing Elias's ear. Then his jaw, a trail of fire that ignited something primal. The kiss came fierce and unyielding, Ronan's mouth claiming his with a hunger that tasted of salt and desperation, stubble scraping like sandpaper on silk. Elias's mind screamed to pull away, the creek's murmur turning to a roar, the stars blurring into accusation. But his body betrayed him, hands fisting in Ronan's hair, pulling him closer even as tears pricked his eyes. He couldn't stop it. Wouldn't. The world narrowed to the slick slide of skin, the gasp of breath shared in the steam-shrouded night. When they broke apart, gasping, Ronan's eyes searched his, raw and unguarded. I've wanted this since the day we met, Elias. Hiding it was killing me. Elias's chest heaved, water lapping at his collarbone like judgment. Shame flooded in, hot and acrid, mingling with a thrill that terrified him. This changes everything, he whispered, voice cracking. Ronan cupped his face, thumb tracing the line of his cheekbone. Or nothing at all. We're us, Harp. Always have been. They didn't speak after that, just clung in the cooling water until wrinkles set in, the jets humming a lullaby to their silence. Elias lay awake later in the loft, the ceiling pressing down like guilt, replaying the kiss in loops that left him aching. Dawn crept in gray and unforgiving, painting the cabin in muted tones. Ronan was already up, coffee brewing on the stove, his smile easy as ever when Elias descended the stairs. Morning, sleepyhead. Eggs. As if the night hadn't shattered the fragile normalcy between them. They ate on the porch, feet dangling over the edge, the valley unfolding below in a quilt of mist and meadow. Conversation skirted the edges. Weather, the drive back. But the air hummed with unspoken weight. By midday, they were hiking the ridge trail, boots crunching on needle-strewn path, the ocean a distant rumble. Ronan led, snapping photos of wildflowers and twisted oaks, his laughter carrying on the wind. Elias trailed, mind a whirlwind. The diner's regulars with their sidelong glances, his mother's hopeful questions about that nice girl from the library. Coming out wasn't an option. Not here, where the valley's conservatism clung like damp fog, where the church steeple loomed over Friday night football. But Ronan, God, Ronan made it feel possible, a horizon beyond the cliffs. They paused at the overlook, backs against a boulder, sharing a water bottle passed hand to hand. Ronan's fingers brushed his again, deliberate this time, and Elias didn't flinch. "Tell me what you're thinking," Ronan pressed, voice soft against the wind. Elias stared out at the waves gnashing the rocks below, words tumbling like pebbles. "I'm scared of what this means, of losing you if it goes wrong." Ronan's hand settled on his knee, steady as anchor. "You won't, I promise." That night, the hot tub called again, steam rising like invitation. They slipped in wordless, the water a baptism. This time, the kiss built slow, exploratory. Lips parting, tongues tentative, hands mapping contours long memorized but never claimed. Elias's breath hitched as Ronan's palms slid under his waistband, stroking with a reverence that unraveled him. Pleasure coiled tight, a spring in his core, and when release came, it was with Ronan's name on his lips, a vow whispered into the dark. They held each other after, hearts sinking in the afterglow, the valley's quiet wrapping them in fragile peace. But peace was a lie Elias knew. Monday loomed with its demands and deceptions. As they packed the truck at noon, Ronan pausing to kiss him quick and fierce behind the woodpile. For luck, Elias felt the first crack in the foundation. His phone buzzed in his pocket. A text from his sister, Lila, back in the valley. "Heard Ronan's in town. Bring him by the diner? Mom's making pie." Innocence itself, but it landed like a warning shot. The drive home wound through canyons gold with autumn light, radio crooning old country tunes about lost loves and dusty roads. Ronan dozed against the window, lashes fanned on his cheeks, and Elias stole glances, memorizing the curve of his mouth. Arrival in Ridge Valley was a jolt. The familiar sprawl of Harper's Hollow, neon sign flickering open, the scent of frying onions wafting from the kitchen. His mother, Clara, enveloped them in hugs scented with vanilla and flour, her eyes crinkling at the corners. "Boys, table 6 is yours on the house." Dad grunted approval from behind the grill, flipping patties with practiced flick. They slid into the booth, vinyl creaking, menus unnecessary after years of rote orders. Lila breezed over, ponytail swinging, notepad in hand. 25 and fierce, she was the family's firecracker, dating a deputy with a mustache that screamed 80s cop show. "Spill," she demanded, hip cocked against the table. "What's the latest disaster Ronan dragged you into?" Ronan grinned, launching into a tale of a photo shoot gone wrong. A bride's veil catching fire from a rogue sparkler, while Elias nodded along, the secret burning under his skin like fever. Clara joined later, sliding pie slices across the formica, her gaze lingering on them with that maternal radar. "You two look good. Rested." Ronan shoveled a bite, moaning theatrically. "Your cooking's the cure for everything, Mrs. H." Laughter flowed easy, but Elias caught the undernote. The way his father's eyes narrowed at Ronan's casual arm draped over the booth back, too close to Elias's shoulder. Small-town math. 2 single guys, thick as thieves, pushing 30. Tongues would wag. That evening, after Ronan crashed at the family guest room, claiming the couch to keep things proper, Elias lay in his boyhood bed, posters peeling from walls, the hot tub's echo pulsing in his veins. Sleep evaded, chased by what-ifs. What if word leaked? What if Ronan bolted, chasing the next horizon? Dawn found him hollow-eyed at the diner's breakfast rush, pouring coffee with mechanical grace. Ronan appeared at 10, camera slung over his shoulder, announcing a quick shoot down by the pier. "Come with?" Fogs rolling imperfect. They walked the weathered boards, gulls wheeling overhead, the Pacific a slate-gray expanse. Ronan framed shots, nets tangled on pilings, buoys bobbing like forgotten dreams, while Elias leaned on the rail, wind whipping his hair. "This could be us," Ronan said suddenly, lens lowering. "Not hiding. Out there." Elias's stomach twisted. "Easy for you to say. You drift. I plant roots here." Ronan's face shadowed. Roots can move, Elias. With the right rain. The kiss that followed was salt-tinged, hidden in the fog's embrace, hands urgent against damp flannel. But as they broke apart, a figure emerged from the mist. Old Mr. Whitaker from the hardware store, fishing pole in hand. He nodded gruff, eyes flicking over them, and Elias's blood iced. "Morning, boys." The words hung heavy, laced with implication. Back at the diner that afternoon, the air crackled with unease. Lila cornered him in the storeroom, arms crossed. "What's with you and Ronan? You're jumpy as a cat in a hailstorm." Elias busied with stock shelves, heart hammering. "Nothing. Just old times catching up." She wasn't buying it, blue eyes mirror to his narrowing. "Lila, please." Her sigh was soft, hand squeezing his arm. "Whatever it is, we've got your back. Always." Ronan left that evening, Gig calling him north to Mendocino. A hug at the truck that lingered too long for prying eyes. "Call me," he murmured, lips brushing Elias's temple. The taillights faded down Highway 1, and Elias stood in the gravel, valley shadows lengthening, a chasm yawning inside. Weeks blurred into routine. Dawn shifts at the diner, evenings tinkering in the garage, the hot tub cold and silent. Texts from Ronan lit his phone like flares, photos of crashing waves, captions laced with longing. "Miss this view." Elias replied in bursts, words careful, fear coiling tighter. Then came the call. Late one night, Ronan's voice slurred with whiskey and something darker. "Elias, I told my sister. About us." The line crackled, silence stretching. She gets it. Said it's about time." Relief warred with terror. Elias pacing the kitchen. Mother's Afghan clutched like shield. "And you?" "Regrets." Ronan's laugh was bitter. "Only that I waited so long." They talked till 3, voices weaving dreams of weekends stolen. Futures sketched in hypotheticals. Elias hung up lighter, the cabin's ghosts quieter. But Ridge Valley had its own ghosts. Gossip fermented slow, then erupted. Whispers at the feed store about those Harper boys. Lila's boyfriend, the deputy, pulling Elias aside after shift. "Heard some talk. You good?" Elias's nod was wooden, denial a reflex. That night, alone in the hot tub, steam veiling his tears, he traced the scars of restraint. Faded bruises from suppressing what burned true. Ronan returned unannounced a month later, truck rumbling up at midnight, headlights cutting the dark like accusation. He found Elias on the porch, beer in hand, stars indifferent overhead. Couldn't stay away. The kiss was homecoming, fierce and forgiving, bodies colliding in the doorway. They made love on the rug by the fire. Slow at first, then urgent, Elias learning the map of Ronan's skin, gasps echoing off log walls. Dawn found them tangled in sheets, sunlight slanting gold. Ronan's head on Elias's chest. "This is real," Ronan whispered. Elias believed him, fingers threading blonde strands. "Yeah, it is." Yet reality intruded like tide. Clara confronted him over breakfast, piecing fragments. The late nights, the glow in his eyes. "Is it him?" Her voice trembled, not with anger, but ache. Elias's confession spilled halting, words raw as open wound. She pulled him close, tears wetting his shirt. "My boy, I just want you whole." Dad's reaction came gruffer, a long silence over coffee, then a clap on the shoulder. "Love's love, son. Don't let fools tell you different." The valley tested them. Sidelong stares at the diner. A tire slashed on Ronan's truck with fag carved crude. Ronan wanted to fight, fists clenched, but Elias held him back. "We rise above." They did, in stolen moments. Picnics on bluffs, hands linked in fog, Ronan's camera capturing their quiet defiance. Climax brewed in winter's grip, snow dusting the ridges rare and ethereal. Ronan's ex, a surf instructor named Jax from his Fresno days, blew into town like storm, tall, tattooed, eyes hungry for reclaim. He cornered Ronan at the pier, words venomous. You think you can play house with your boy toy? I know your secrets, Kane. That night in the motel, you begged for it. Lies, twisted from half-truths of drunken hookups, but they landed like shrapnel. Ronan stormed to the cabin, face thunder, spilling it all to Elias over whiskey by the fire. He says I'm using you, that this gesture encompassing them is just rebellion. Betrayal's sting was twofold. Jax's poison, and the fear it unearthed in Ronan, old doubts surfacing like wrecks from the deep. Elias's heart fractured, voice steady despite the quake. Is it? Am I just convenient? Ronan's denial was a roar, but doubt lingered, festering. Days passed in strained quiet, Ronan retreating to chutes, Elias burying in work. The hot tub became confessional, steam witness to arguments laced with love. I can't lose you to ghosts, Elias pleaded. Ronan, breaking. I'm terrified of breaking you. The turning point came on a sleet-lashed night, Jax's truck idling outside the diner, confrontation inevitable. Elias stepped out, rain sheeting, facing the man who'd sown discord. Leave him be. We're building something real. Jax sneered, but faltered at the steel in Elias's gaze. You're both fools. He peeled away, taillights lost in storm. Ronan arrived soaked, collapsing into Elias's arms, sobs racking. I almost ran. Thought I wasn't enough. Elias held him through the tempest. Words bomb. You're everything. They made love in the downpour's aftermath. Bodies a testament to endurance. Whispers forging vows unspoken. Spring thawed the valley, blooms rioting along creeks. They navigated the aftermath. Ronan confronting his past, Elias standing tall against whispers that faded to irrelevance. Lila threw a barbecue, toasting to roots that grow wild. Clara's pie a symbol of mending. Dad even cracked a joke, gruff but genuine. Just don't elope without inviting us. By summer's cusp, they stood on the ridge overlook, hands clasped, ocean eternal below. Ronan knelt, ring simple, silver band etched with waves, voice steady. Marry me, harp. Let's make this forever. Elias's yes was a laugh through tears, pulling him up into embrace. The wedding was small, valley kin and chosen few under redwoods. Vows exchanged with sea salt on lips. They honeymooned in the cabin. Hot tub reborn as sanctuary. Steam veiling promises kept. Years later, Elias would trace the scar of that first night. Ronan beside him in their home overlooking the valley. A life woven from threads of courage and grace. Love, they learned, was the ultimate rebellion. Fierce, unapologetic, free. Ronan and Elias settled into the rhythm of us, the kind that felt less like a dance and more like breathing, effortless, vital, the air you'd forgotten you needed until it filled your lungs. Ridge Valley softened around them, the gossip mill grinding to a halt under the weight of daily life. Ronan's photography studio above the old bookstore, its windows framing black and white prints of crashing waves and lovers' silhouettes. Elias expanding the diner into a farm-to-table spot, sourcing heirloom tomatoes from local groves, his mother beaming as she trained new hires on her apple pie lattice. They bought a fixer-upper on the outskirts, a craftsman bungalow with creaky floors and a porch swing that groaned under their weight on evenings when the fog rolled in thick as regret. But Harmony, Elias discovered, was a jealous lover, demanding vigilance against the shadows that lingered at the edges. Ronan's past wasn't a closed book. It was a volume with dog-eared pages, chapters bleeding into the present. Jax's shadow loomed longest, not in flesh but in echoes. Late-night calls from Fresno numbers that Ronan silenced without a word, or the way his jaw tightened at mentions of old surf spots. Elias saw it, felt it like a draft through cracked panes, but pressed gently, trusting the man who'd bared his soul in steam-shrouded water. Summer swelled hot and golden, tourists flooding the coast in RVs and convertibles, chasing the California promise of reinvention. They escaped to Big Sur for a weekend, camping under stars that wheeled indifferent, Ronan's camera forgotten in favor of tangled limbs by the fire. Elias traced constellations on Ronan's back, fingers mapping freckles like Braille's secrets, whispering dreams of adoption, a family etched in their image. Ronan's eyes softened, hand over heart. Yeah, little Harper's running wild. Or Cain's. Take your pick. Laughter bubbled, but beneath it, a current of fear. The world's unreadiness for two men raising a child in a valley still whispering slurs behind cupped palms. Back home, the diner buzzed with harvest season, air thick with cider steam and laughter. Lila announced her pregnancy over closing shift, her deputy husband blushing beet red as Clara hooped, enveloping them in flour-dusted hugs. Elias caught Ronan's gaze across the counter, a pang sharp as cider bite. Envy, not resentment, but a hollow ache for what they'd yet to claim. That night, in their bed with sheets tangled like vines, Ronan held him close post-love, breath warm on his neck. We'll get there. Our way. Elias nodded into the pillow, but sleep came fitful, dreams of empty cribs and echoing cabins. Autumn painted the ridges in fire, leaves crunching underfoot as they hiked the trails. Ronan's hand swinging Elias's with boyish abandon. It was on one such ramble, near the overlook where they'd first dreamed aloud, that Ronan's phone shattered the peace. A shrill ring cutting through birdsong. He glanced at the screen, color draining. It's my mom. Elias squeezed his shoulder. Take it. Ronan stepped aside, voice pitching low, but fragments carried on the wind. No, Ma. It's not a phase. He's good for me. Please. When he returned, face ashen, Elias pulled him down to the mossy ground, arms a bulwark. She doesn't get it. Says I'm throwing away my life for confusion. Ronan's laugh was hollow, fists clenched in grass. 20 years, and she still sees me as the kid who broke curfew. Elias's anger simmered, protective. Then we show her. Invite them up. Ronan shook his head, eyes distant. They won't come. Fresno's their bubble. The rift widened subtle, Ronan withdrawing into late edits at the studio, emerging hollow-cheeked with takeout apologies. Elias filled the silence with gestures. Dinners by candlelight, drives to hidden coves where they swam nude under moonlight, bodies buoyant in salt embrace. But the strain showed. Arguments flaring over trifles, like Ronan's forgotten laundry or Elias's overtime shifts. You're pulling away, Elias accused one night, rain lashing windows. Ronan's retort stung. Maybe I'm giving you space to wake up. Wounds festered, unspoken. Elias threw himself into the diner's expansion. Walls knocked out for a patio overlooking the creek. Hires including a queer kid from town. Finn, barely 20, with dyed hair and a tattoo of intertwined vines, who confided over bus tubs. Coming out here? It's like yelling into fog. Elias nodded, sharing slivers of his story, the hot tub's steam a talisman. Finn's grin was lifeline. You too? Goals. Ronan's breakthrough came circuitous, a gallery show in San Francisco beckoning. His coastal series, including veiled portraits of Elias, eyes shadowed with longing. They drove up together, the city a neon assault after Valley quiet. Hate Street's rainbow flags fluttering defiant, cafes spilling laughter onto sidewalks. The opening was a whirl, critics in slim suits sipping Chardonnay, murmurs of raw and intimate trailing Ronan like smoke. Elias hovered peripheral, pride swelling as a curator clasped Ronan's hand. This captures the ache of hidden lives. Revolutionary, but revolution bred backlash. Jax materialized in the crowd, uninvited, champagne flute in hand, smile sharp as shard. Nice work, lover. That one. Nod to Elias's portrait, blurred but unmistakable. He know about us. Lies again, amplified by liquor drawing stares. Ronan's face thunder. Elias stepping forward, voice steel. There is no us. Leave. Jax's exit was theatrical, shoulder-checking Ronan, but the damage lingered in whispers rippling through the room. They fled to a dive bar in the Mission, neon buzzing open, shots of tequila burning paths to truth. Ronan slammed his glass down, eyes blazing. He's poison, Elias. Dragged me down before you pulled me up, confession poured. Jax's grip had been toxic, years of cycles. Passion crashing to control. Ronan fleeing only to circle back in weakness. I was lost. You're my north. Elias absorbed it, hurt mingling with compassion. Hand over Ronan's trembling. We all have ghosts, but we don't let them haunt us. The night deepened in a rented room overlooking the bay, bodies reclaiming territory, slow and sacred. Kisses like communion, touches mapping forgiveness. Dawn painted the skyline rose, and they drove home lighter, valley welcoming with open arms. Winter clamped down fierce that year, storms howling off the Pacific, isolating the bungalow in sheets of silver rain. They turned inward, fortifying. Ronan teaching Elias darkroom basics, chemicals acrid and alchemical. Elias coaxing Ronan into baking Clara's pie, flour dusting noses like snow. Lila's baby arrived in a flurry. A girl, rosy and squalling, named Willow, and they stood godparents, Ronan cradling her with awe that melted Elias's reservations. Ours someday, he murmured, and Elias believed, the future tangible as the infant's fist around his finger. Yet betrayal brewed insidious, not from without but within. Ronan's commission surged. A book deal for his series, tours to New York, LA, pulling him away in bursts. Elias encouraged, but loneliness crept. Nights alone in the hot tub, steam veiling solitude. Memories of that first unraveling both bomb and blade. One February evening, storm raging, Ronan called from LAX, voice electric. They want me for a residency. 6 months in Brooklyn. Elias's congratulations masked the gut punch. That's huge. Proud of you. The goodbye at the airport was agony. Fog cloaking the tarmac. Ronan's kiss lingering like farewell. Video every night. I love you. Elias nodded, throat tight, driving home through deluge, bungalow echoing empty. Days blurred to weeks, calls sustaining but fraying. Time zones jumbling, Ronan's exhaustion bleeding through. Then, the message. A photo from a gallery afterparty. Ronan arm in arm with a curator, dark-haired and intense, caption innocuous but the lean too familiar. Doubt festered, Elias scrolling feeds in the dim diner kitchen. Pie cooling forgotten. Lila found him there, chin on knee. Talk. He did, voice cracking on the fear. What if I'm not enough? The valley boy holding him back. Her hug was fierce. You're his anchor. Don't forget. Ronan's letters arrived handwritten. A surprise. Pages inked with sketches of brownstones and bridges. Words pouring vulnerability. Miss your laugh in the quiet. The city's all flash, no depth. You're my depth. Elias read them by firelight, tears salting pages, replying with valley vignettes. Willow's first steps, a storm-felled oak by the creek. The fracture came mid-spring. Ronan's call laced with hesitation. There's this guy, Colton. Collaborator. It's nothing, but he gets the grind. Elias's world tilted, jealousy a vice. Nothing? Or temptation? Silence stretched, Ronan's sarcasm. I'm lonely, Elias, but I choose you. Always. Trust rebuilt brick by brick. Ronan returning early. Residency truncated for them. They met at the cabin. Hot tub thundering welcome, steam erasing miles. Forgive me, Ronan begged, hands framing Elias's face, for doubting us. Elias's kiss was absolution. Bodies merging in water's embrace, reclaiming what distance had teased. Summer bloomed forgiving, their love deepened by trial. Ronan proposing again, properly, on the pier at sunset, ring glinting like promise. The wedding planning wove them tighter. Invitations etched on recycled paper, vows penned in quiet hours. Clara orchestrated the feast, Lila the flowers, Dad the toast, gruff words on roots and wings. But climax shadowed eve of, Jax's final strike. A letter to the local paper, anonymous venom decrying the valley's moral decay. Veiled barbs at deviant friends corrupting youth. The edition hit stands like bomb, diners buzzing, stares sharpening. Elias confronted Ronan in the studio, paper crumpled in fist. He's not done. Ronan's face paled, then hardened. Then we fight. Together. They drafted a response. Open letter, raw and unfiltered. Tales of the hot tub's revelation. The valley's grudging grace. Love's quiet revolution. Published in the next issue, it rippled outward, letters pouring in. Support from hidden kin, condemnation from zealots. Finn rallied a queer youth group. Meetings in the diner's back room. Elias and Ronan anchors. The wedding dawned clear. Redwood's arching cathedral. Guests a tapestry of allies. Vows exchanged with ocean chorus. In steam and storm, I choose you. The kiss sealed it, cheers rising defiant. Honeymoon in the cabin stretched lazy. Hot tub nightly ritual, bodies and souls entwined. They emerged renewed, bungalow now home in full. Ronan's darkroom in the attic, Elias's herb garden spilling wild. Years folded forward. Willow's christening, their adoption of twins, boys with Ronan's eyes, Elias's quiet strength. The diner thrived, a haven for wanderers. Ronan's books lining shelves worldwide. Betrayals faded to footnotes. Love the narrative true. In quiet nights, Elias would pull Ronan to the tub, steam rising like memory. Remember, Ronan's smile, hand in his. How could I forget? You couldn't stop me then. Won't now. The twins arrived like thunderclaps in autumn's hush. Two boys swaddled in Valley Hospital blues. Owen and Theo. Ronan's green gaze mirrored in their wide stares. Elias's determined set to tiny jaws. Adoption papers still warm from the judge's stamp. They brought the bungalow to life. Cries echoing off walls once silent. Tiny fists waving like flags of surrender. Elias rocked Owen through colic nights. Ronan pacing with Theo. Their exhaustion a shared badge. Love forged in formula bottles and dawn feedings. Ridge Valley adapted uneven. Clara's nursery murals blooming fantastical. Lila's willow toddling as big sister proxy. But undercurrents swirled. The paper's old poison seeping into PDA whispers. Playground side eyes at park pickups. Ronan threw himself into fatherhood with photographer's eye, chronicling first smiles in sepia tones. His studio now a nursery annex cluttered with blocks and lenses. Elias balanced diner demands with diaper runs. His expansion yielding a play corner for local kids. Finn volunteering shifts with his easy grin. You two? Pioneers, Finn said one afternoon, bouncing Theo on knee while Owen napped. Elias chuckled, wiping counters. Just stubborn. Yet beneath the domestic hum, fissures snaked subtle. Ronan's success crested, a Guggenheim nod for his Queer Family series, exhibitions in Berlin, Tokyo, pulling him globeward in whispers of opportunity. Just a month, he'd promise at departures, kiss lingering at gates. Elias waved from the porch, twins on hips, heart a stone in chest. The bungalow felt cavernous in absence, nights folding laundry alone, hot tub cold as accusation. Calls bridged gaps, Ronan's voice tinny over satellites. Owen rolled today? God, I miss it. But static crept, silences lengthening. Elias biting back the plea, stay. Winter gripped fierce, storms lashing the coast, isolating them in power flickers and candlelight tales. Clara hosted hearth gatherings, pie steaming, stories weaving generations. Grandpa Harper's moonshine stills, Ronan's Fresno orchards under moon. The boys cooed, mesmerized, and Elias caught Ronan's gaze, gratitude a quiet flame. But post-glow in bed's chill, Ronan confessed over wine. The world's opening doors I never knocked on. Feels like betrayal to walk through. Elias traced his brow. Not if we do it together. Spring thawed resolutions, Ronan declining a Paris residency for family immersion. Building forts in the yard, teaching the boys to frame shots with toy cameras. Elias watched, chest swelling. As Ronan knelt in mud, Theo's laughter bubbling. This is the shot, he murmured, snapping candid. Their love rekindled playful. Stolen kisses over breakfast chaos, date nights at the diner after close, Slow dances to Springsteen on the porch swing. Summer scorched golden. Beach days a ritual. Twins in rash guards, splashing shallows while Ronan and Elias lounged on towels, hands laced in sand. Locals nodded warmer now, the paper's retraction a year prior paving paths. Editor's apology, penned by a closeted staffer coming out in solidarity. Finn's group blossomed. Teen Center in the old mill, Elias on the board, Ronan donating prints. "We're changing it," Elias said one twilight, bonfire crackling, boys roasting marshmallows gooey. Ronan pulled him close. "You changed me." But change courted conflict, as valleys do. Jack's resurfaced spectral, not in flesh but legacy. A Fresno cousin contacting Ronan. Inheritance tangled in family will. Strings attached to reparations for past indiscretions. Letters arrived lawyer-stamped, demanding Ronan renounce lifestyle choices for a share. Rage boiled, Ronan crumpling paper by the fire, flames devouring demands. "They think they own me still." Elias held him through fury, voice anchor. "They don't. We do." The fight spilled public when Ronan penned an op-ed, Valley paper reprinting nationwide. Inheritance of the Heart, tales of hot tub awakenings. Twins giggles as legacy true. Backlash howled, boycotts at the diner, graffiti on the studio, Sodom's seed. But support surged. National features, donors flooding the teen center, strangers mailing checks for the Canes. Climax crested in Harvest Moon. A town hall convened on family values. Jax's cousin spearheading, venom veiled in scripture. Elias and Ronan attended, twins with Clara, hands clasped under folding tables. Speakers droned judgment. But when Ronan rose, voice steady, the room hushed. "Family isn't blood or bylaws. It's the man who held me in steam when I broke, the boys who call us dad. Judge that." Applause fractured, but seeds planted. Nods from fence-sitters, Lila's deputy husband standing sentinel. Aftermath mellowed autumn. Diner packed with allies, studio bookings tripled. They celebrated Samhain style, pumpkin carved with waves, boys in leaf crowns chasing fireflies. Bed that night, Ronan's touch reverent, bodies a reclamation. "You're my revolution," he whispered. Elias's gasp a vow. Winter wove coziness, holidays a tapestry. Clara's tree trimmed with photo ornaments, twins' first snowman lopsided. Ronan's book launched, Steam and Stars. Memoir veiled in fiction, hot tub prologue aching true. Climbing bestsellers, tours domestic now, family trailing. Elias read drafts by lamplight, tears for the boy who couldn't stop, pride for the man who did. Spring birthed renewal, teen center ribbon cut. Finn directing with flair. The boys toddled stages, Owen reciting Ronan's poem, Theo hugging Elias fierce. Valley bloomed inclusive. Pride flags on lampposts, diner specials rainbow pie. Yet deeper currents stirred. Ronan's restlessness, a whisper of wanderlust post-tours. What if we road trip? See America through their eyes. Elias hesitated, roots tugging. The diner, the center. Negotiation brewed gentle, compromise a map. Summer sabbatical, RV rumbling highways, bungalow waiting. Summer unfurled epic, tires humming interstates, boys wide-eyed at Grand Canyon rims. Ronan framing vistas, Elias narrating lore. Detours to diners mirroring Harper's, pie sampled coast to coast. One Nevada night, hot springs bubbling wild. They soaked family style, steam veiling stars, twins asleep in packs. Ronan's hand found Elias's underwater, echo of origins. Full circle, Elias kissed him slow, water-lapping benediction. Return grounded them, bungalow welcoming with harvest gold. Boys chattered tales to Clara, Willow jealous sibling plotting. Fall deepened bonds, Ronan mentoring at the center, Elias expanding menu with queer chef collabs. Climax echoed faint in Thanksgiving gale, storm downing lines, family huddled by generator hum. Power out, stories flowed. Ronan's Fresno flight, Elias's hot tub freeze frame. Boys rapped, Owen asking, "Did it hurt, Daddy?" Ronan's honesty soft, like growing pains, but worth every ache. Winter solstice brought quiet epiphany, Ronan gifting Elias a print. Their first kiss, reconstructed from memory, steam ethereal. Our origin. Elias framed it loftside, hot tub view. Spring's thaw saw Ronan's fellowship, local valley tide, anchoring dreams. Twins enrolled preschool, backpacks comically large. Diner thrived, center a hub. Summer circled eternal, beach days with growing brood, hands laced across sands. Betrayals? Footnote in memoirs' endnotes. Love, the narrative unbroken, steam to stars. Owen and Theo turned 4 in the blaze of July, birthdays a dual whirlwind. Beach picnic with cake sandcastles crumbling under waves. Ronan directing chaos with lens, Elias corralling sugar-high sprints. The bungalow overflowed with kin. Clara piping icing. Lila's Willow now 7 and bossy director. Dad grilling skewers with deputy son-in-law. Finn arrived with boyfriend, arms-laden gifts, his center gig evolving to full-time coordinator. Laughter crested waves, but Elias caught Ronan's distant gaze on the horizon, green eyes tracing gulls' arcs. Penny, Ronan shook head, smile pasted. Just grateful. Post-party cleanup stretched twilight, boys napping in hammocks, Elias and Ronan swaying on the porch, beers sweating. They're growing fast, Ronan murmured, head on Elias's shoulder. Too fast. Elias hummed agreement, fingers combing blonde waves. Means we did something right. Silence settled companionable, but undercurrent hummed. Ronan's latest book tour whispers. A European leg tempting. Elias sensed it, unspoken pact. Discuss at dawn. August baked relentless, valley shimmering heat haze. Diner air-conditioned haven drawing crowds. Elias innovated chilled gazpacho, special scrawled chalkboard, cool as a canyon dip. Ronan's studio cooled with fans, prints shipping global. But evenings found him sketching maps, fingers ink-stained. One night, over dinner's remnants, twins finger-painting mac and cheese, he broached, "What if we go? All of us. Tour as family adventure." Elias's fork paused, heart stutter. The boys. School starts soon. Ronan's eyes pleaded. Homeschool pods. See the world. Debate simmered weeks. Pros cons tallied like diner receipts. Exposure for Ronan's work, cultural tapestries for kids, but uprooting routines, diner delegation to Finn and Lila. Clara Wade sage. Roots bend. Don't break. Decision crystallized Labor Day. Tickets booked. London first, then Paris, Rome. Fall foliage chasing them east. Preparations whirled. Passports stamped fresh for boys. RV traded for suitcases. Bungalow winterized with neighbor checks. Departure dawned misty. Airport hugs tear-tinged. Clara's sniffles. Dad's gruff. Bring postcards. Plane liftoff. Twins' noses pressed windows. Ronan's hand Elias's. Squeeze promise. Our story, next chapter. London greeted grey and grand. Thames misting Big Ben's chime. Boys awed by red buses rumbling cobbles. They holed in a Kensington flat. Ronan's readings at indie shops drawing crowds. Q&A's delving hot tub lore. Elias fielding post-talk coffees with fans sharing kin tales. Evenings wandered markets. Fish and chips greasy joy. Theo declaring, crisps better than fries. Owen sketched tower ravens, Ronan framing beside. Paris bloomed romance. Sane strolls hand in hand. Boys Eiffel-gazing jaws slack. Ronan's launch at Shakespeare and Company packed. Elias translating whispers for twins hiding legs. Post-glitter. They picnicked Luxembourg gardens. Brie and baguettes. Ronan feeding Elias grapes slow. Eyes lock promising nights in creaky beds. Bodies rediscovering amid jet-lag haze. Rome scorched ancient. Colosseum shadows long. Boys gladiator posturing till giggles toppled. Vatican whispers hushed Ronan's tales of hidden loves. Michelangelo's David a wink. Gelato runs daily ritual. Flavors melting chins. Elias wiping with napkins. Heart full. One Forum Eve. Ruins aglow sunset. Ronan pulled Elias aside. Colosseum echo. This, us, them, it's epic. Kiss sealed. Boys interrupting with ice cream. Wanderlust peaked Athens. Acropolis marble gleaming. Myths breathed life. But cracks spidered. Jet lag fraying tempers. Owen's ear infection flaring mid-Parthenon climb. Theo's homesick wails at souvlaki stalls. Ronan's fatigue peaked. Readings blurring to rote. Elias mediating meltdown solo while Ronan networked. Istanbul bridged. Bazaar's kaleidoscope. But hotel squabble erupted. Ronan snapping at Elias's overprotectiveness. Words landing like bizarre barters gone sour. You're clipping wings. Ronan accused. Elias's retort iced. I'm holding ground. Truce forged in hammam steam. Turkish baths echoing origins. Hot waters laving wounds. Hands tentative then tender. Apologies murmured low. I'm scared of losing this. Ronan confessed, brow to Elias's. The us before chaos. Elias cupped face, water dripping. Chaos is us now. We adapt. Homeward leg lightened. New York finale. Ronan stateside splash at MoMA. Family front row. Boys Times Square dazzled. Hot dogs vendor vended. Elias and Ronan stealing cab kisses amid honks. Return to Ridge Valley snow dusted. Bungalow aglow welcomes. Twins tumbling Clare arms. Winter wrapped restorative. Holidays amplified. Twins recounting Europe tales to wide-eyed Willow. Ronan editing travel prints. Elias tweaking diner menu with global twists. Gyro wraps. Baklava bites. Center thrived. Finn's holiday drive collecting coats for queer youth runaways. Spring green forgiveness. Boys enrolling kindergarten. Backpacks slung proud. Ronan's Guggenheim fruits. Grant for Valley Project. Photographing immigrant stories. Elias co-curator. Collaboration deepened. Studio nights brainstorming. Bodies inspiration. Slow touches over proofs. Love's lens unflinching. Summer simmered settled. Beach days locals now. Twins body surfing like mini Ronans. But undercurrent stirred. Jax's cousin lawsuit dropped. Settlement strings cut. But scar itched. Family estrangement Ronan's quiet grief. Elias prompted therapy. Valley counselor queer affirming. Sessions unraveling Fresno knots. Fall harvested healing. Ronan's letters homeward mending. Mother's tentative call. Saw your book. Proud. Son. Voice crackled but bridge built. Thanksgiving table fuller. Fresno empty chair symbolic. Climax whispered Yule. Storm stranding them cabin bound. Power out. Firelit tales binding. Boys asleep blankets. Ronan and Elias hot tub bound. Snowflakes hissing steam. 10 years since. Ronan mused. Fingers tracing Elias's thigh. Couldn't stop then. Won't now. Laughter bubbled. Bodies merging snowmelt warm. Vows renewed in vapor. Winter waned whimsical. Twins snow forts epic. Ronan's sled runs whooping. Spring's center gala raised funds. Elias emceeing. Ronan auctioning family portrait. Bids soaring. Summer circled sun-kissed. Road trip echoes in local jaunts. Love's narrative expansive yet rooted. Betrayals? Distant thunder. Hearts? Intertwined eternal. Steam's legacy. Owen and Theo's kindergarten plunge mark time's inexorable tick. Tiny uniforms crisp. Lunchboxes monogrammed. First day photos Ronan staging with dawn light slanting bungalow windows. Elias knelt tying laces. Throat tight at their solemn nods. Big boys now, Dad. While Ronan snapped, voice thick. Our gladiators. Drop-off teamed parents, valley faces familiar. A few nods warmer post-years. But Elias caught the linger. Mrs. Hargrove's purse lip, old paper echo. Ronan squeezed hand. They'll conquer. Adjustment jagged. Afternoons raw with absence. Bungalow echoey. Elias tinkering diner expansions. Outdoor stage for center events. Ronan diving Grant deep. Interviewing farm workers kin. Prince emerging stark beauty. Evenings filled with debriefs. Boys chattering recess conquests over meatloaf. Theo's, I shared crayons. Beaming pride. Bedtime rituals anchored. Ronan's stories spun European myths. Elias's lullabies valley-lilted. Fall foliage flamed. Center's harvest fair bustling. Hayrides, pumpkin patches. Ronan's booth portraits free for donors. Finn, now engaged, proposed mid-booth to cheers. Elias toasting to loves that steamrolled out. But Ronan's interviews unearthed ghosts. A worker's son, outed violently, echoing Jax's venom. Ronan withdrew, darkroom marathons, Elias coaxing with porch beers. It's close to home, Ronan admitted, head bowed. What if our boys? Elias's arm steel. We armor them. With truth. Winter whispered warnings. Holidays hushed by flu sweeping valley. Twins sidelined. Clara nursing broths. Lila's family quarantined. Bungalow became fort. Board games marathon. Ronan inventing hot tub quest tales. Boys giggling at foam bath reenactments. Elias fielded diner remote. Zoom orders flying. But revenue dipped. Stress etching lines. One blizzard night, power falter. Ronan lit candles, pulling Elias to rug. Remember our first storm? Touch reignited, bodies haven against howl, whispers weaving resilience. Spring surged verdant, boys blooming social, Owen's soccer drills, Theo's art club, Ronan coaching sidelines, Elias cheering. Center's Pride Month gala shimmered. Runway for youth designers, twins flower boys tossing petals. But underglow, Ronan's grant deadline loomed. Edits frantic. Elias mediating boy meltdown solo. You're stretched, Elias noted over breakfast chaos. Ronan's sigh. Pushing limits for them. Summer scorched ambitions, family camping Yosemite echoes, granite domes, boys backpacking mini, Ronan framing vistas with progeny. One Sequoia Grove eve, fire crackling, twins asleep tents, Ronan unfurled map. What if we expand? Center satellite in Fresno? Elias's pulse quickened, Ronan's roots reclamation. Heal the source. Plan hatch tentative visit scouting. Fall fermented forward. Ronan's exhibit roots rewoven, unveiling at center. Farm workers' gazes piercing. Twins' crayon contributions framed proud. Opening drew Fresno kin. Ronan's mother tentative threshold crosser. Hug awkward but real. The boys. Handsome. Elias's welcome warm. Pie slice extended. Bridge trembled but held. Winter wove warmer, holidays Fresno tinged. Ronan's family thawing. Cousin apologies mumbled over turkey. Bungalow overflowed. Twins enchanting aunts. Clara and Ronan's mom kitchen bonding over pie crusts. New Year's Eve. Hot tub snow-edged. Family toasts clinking. To mending. Spring's thaw tested. Center Fresno outpost greenlit. Ronan commuting, Elias helming valley. Distance dusted old doubts. Calls clipped by static. But Ronan's letters handwritten anchors. Your voice, my compass. Boys' school play. The Little Prince. Starred Theo as aviator. Owen rosebearer. Parents front row teary. Summer straddled splits. Family weekends Fresno bridging. Boys orchard climbing. Ronan reconciling soil. But climax brewed August. Jax's final specter. Obituary in Fresno obit. Suicide note leaked venomous. Blaming temptations like Ronan. News hit like quake. Ronan crumbling studio. Elias finding him curled prince amid. His hate. It won. Grief communal. Center vigil candlelit. Youth sharing scars. Ronan spoke shattered. Don't let it claim you. Elias held through nights. Hot tub vigils steam-veiled tears. Therapy deepened. Ronan unpacking survivor's guilt. Elias anchoring. You chose light. Fall folded forgiveness. Jax's shadow exorcised in Ronan's epilogue essay. Published broad. From steam to solace. Responses flooded. Healings shared. Donations surged. Winter whispered wholeness. Holidays hybrid. Valley Fresno rotate. Twins bi-valley fluent. New Year's. Bungalow lantern lit. Ronan's gift. Locket with hot tub sketch. Our spark. Spring's center outposts twin thrived. Boys bridging events. Owen's poem recited. Theo's mural splashed. Summer circled sunward, Yosemite redux, bigger packs, deeper bonds. Love's narrative? Unyielding. Betrayals burned to ash. Hearts horizon-bound. Owen and Theo hit 8 in the harvest hush of October. Birthdays a orchard odyssey. Fresno-bound. Ronan's kin hosting cider presses and hay mazes. Twins navigating aunt-uncle throngs with Elias's easy charm. Ronan's quiet pride. The bungalow stood sentinel empty. Clara minding plants. Lila's willow now tween conspirator via video. Return-laden apples. Boys chattering cores. Elias baking pies Valley kitchen. Ronan editing Fresno footage. Family reels stitching coasts. School year steadied. 3rd grade a leap. Owen's math whiz. Theo's theater star, backpacks heavier with homework heft. Elias juggled diner peaks. Fall specials pumpkin spiced. Ronan splitting weeks. Outposts demanding. Commutes carved ruts. Evenings catch-up collages. Dinner debates on history homework. Bedtime brainstorming center grants. Daddy why rainbows? Theo queried once. Crayon midair. Elias knelt, Ronan flanking. Colors of courage, kiddo. Like us. Winter wrapped rigorous, holidays a hopscotch. Thanksgiving Fresno, Christmas Valley. Twins list Santa split. Bungalow twinkled lights. Center's winter wonderland drew crowds. Ice rink pop-up. Ronan's photo booth capturing joy. But Ronan's fatigue flagged. Cough lingering post-cold. Elias pressing checkups. Just travel where? Ronan waved, but Doc's verdict landed December. Pneumonia shadow, rest mandated. Tours paused, bungalow bedbound. Elias nursing broths. Boys drawing get-well cards gallery wall. Spring stalled slow, Ronan's recovery a crawl. Walks creekside tentative, studio sidelined. Elias shouldered solo. Diner ledgers, center board, school runs. Strain simmered, arguments flickering. You push too hard. Elias snapped over uneaten dinner. Ronan's retort weary. Sitting still kills me. Truce in therapy tandem. Counselor unpacking provider roles. Emerging tender. Date night diner close. Slow dance to jukebox croon. Summer salvaged. Family RV loop. Coastal crawl. Boys fishing piers. Ronan lens light. One Oregon hot spring soak. Geothermal steam cousin to origins. Twins splashing oblivious. Ronan's whisper ear brushed. This men's. Elias's nod. Hand thigh squeeze. Echo electric. Fall forwarded fortitude. Ronan's outposts optimized. Virtual meets bridging. Boys school fair Ferrispun. Owen's science volcano erupting. Theo's skit applauded. Center's anniversary gala glitzed. Finn's wedding vowing mid-event. Valley first. Elias best man toast. Love's not plot twist. It's the story. Winter wove wonder. Holidays harmonious. Joint feasts. Twins holiday concert caroling. New Year's hot tub heralded. Snowflakes fizzing. Family champagne mimed. Ronan's arm Elias waist. To chapters closing, new opening. Spring's center expansion sprouted. Youth scholarship fund. Ronan endowed. Boys bloomed. Owen's soccer goal. Theo's play lead. Elias's diner cookbook crowdfunded. Recipes rooted. Hot tub heart dessert. Steam pudding whimsy. Summer soared seamless, Yosemite trio trek. Boys trailblazing. Ronan's pack patriarch. Campfire confessions. Owen's crush query. Is it okay if? Boy. Hearts swelled. Ronan's tale timed. Love finds its color. Elias's ad. We'll guide. But autumn's underbelly brood. Ronan's mother's health falter. Cancer whisper. Fresno pull. Visits weekly. Boys bedside storytellers. Elias meal prepping. Ronan bedside vigils. Valley held. Center staff stepping. But grief gnawed. Ronan's sketches darkening. Winter's vigil peaked January. Hospice hush. Twins goodbye cards clutched. Passing peaceful. Funeral Fresno full. Ronan's eulogy eulogizing. You taught roots. I grew wings. Return raw. Bungalow hearth healing. Elias holding through sobs. She saw you true, at end. Spring's solace sprouted. Memorial garden center planted. Roses Ronan's hybrid. Boys questions gentle. Grandma in stars? Theo pondered. Elias's yes, Ronan's lens capturing bloom. Summer steadied. Family therapy fortifying. Laughs reclaiming. Yosemite solace, hot springs healing, steam sacrament. Fall folded forward. Outposts thriving. Boys 8th grade prep. Wait. No, 8 years old, but futures glimpsed. Center's national nod. Ronin keynote. Climax crested Yule, storm sequel, power out but generator hum, tales taller. Boys, hot tub quest evolved. Their additions, Daddies save world. Laughter lit. Ronan's gaze Elias's. They do. Winter waned wistful, holidays hybrid healed. Spring scholarships awarded. Twins recipients future. Summer circled. Love's loop eternal. Betrayals banished. Hearts home. Yet deeper. Ronan's whisper one dawn. Twins asleep. What next chapter? Elias's smile. Hand heart. Ours always.